China's demographic crisis, from the one-child policy to the three-child policy. In recent years, China has faced a serious demographic crisis that threatens to undermine the country's economic development and create a host of social problems. The situation has changed dramatically from the 1980s, when the government actively pursued a one-child policy to curb population growth. At that time, slogans like "it is better to shed rivers of blood than to allow an extra child to be born" could be seen all over China. Women of childbearing age were forcibly sterilized, and serious penalties, up to and including demolition of houses, were threatened for violating birth quotas. According to official figures, over 30 years, the family planning policy has reduced China's population growth by 400 million people. Today, however, the situation has changed dramatically. The younger generation of Chinese is in no hurry to get married and have children. Among the 200 million members of the 90s generation, less than 10% are married, and among them, the divorce rate reaches 35 to 50% in major cities. The generation of the 2000s shows no interest in romantic relationships at all. The reasons for this demographic shift are manifold. Young people complain about the high cost of living, inaccessibility of housing, pressure at work, and in society. Many believe that they will not be able to provide their children with a decent future in a highly competitive environment. Some even refuse the traditional way of life, preferring freedom and self-development. The government is trying to stimulate the birth rate by various measures. Some regions offer cash subsidies for the birth of the second and third child. Others even offer free housing. However, the effect of these measures is still minimal. Young people are skeptical of the authorities' appeals and do not want to sacrifice their well-being for the sake of national revival. The consequences of the demographic crisis are already being felt in many spheres. Entire industries aimed at children and young parents are under threat. Children's development centers are closing, the industry of goods for mothers and children is shrinking. Some experts predict that over the next 10 years, China's population may shrink by 100 million people. The example of Zhejiang County in Jiangsu Province is particularly telling. Once a model district for family planning, it has now become China's oldest county. 40% of the population here is over 60 years old, and the birth rate has fallen 92.8% from its peak. By 2030, more than half of Zhejiang's residents will be over 60. Ironically, the current generation of young Chinese has chosen the most peaceful yet destructive way to resist the system. They simply refuse to continue the lineage, not wanting to condemn their children to the same problems they face themselves. It is better to end the suffering on us and not pass it on to the next generation, is how their position can be characterized. Thus, China finds itself in a complex situation where the consequences of past harsh population policies are superimposed on today's socio-economic problems. Time will tell whether the country will be able to find a way out of this crisis. But it is clear that simple slogans and financial incentives will not solve this problem. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is very important to us. We wish you all the best and see you soon.